Our guest this morning is a councillor from City of Monash. It's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce Mr. Robert Davies in our studios this morning. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derek. Thank you very much for having me here this morning.
Robert, first of all, City of Monash is a multicultural community. What type of services do you provide?
Monash does have one of the most diverse multicultural cities in all of Melbourne. We have half of the people from the city were born overseas, or their parents were born overseas. So it is very diverse, and we need to cater for that diversity in the city through some of the services that we provide. So in particular, one of the most important things is we need to keep our senior communities active in the city and in their community. So we give preferential access, for instance, to senior citizens groups, which usually form around their ethnic or their country of origin. We give them preferential access to community halls to make sure that those seniors groups are active, they're healthy, they're engaged in life through their community, and that's really the best place to provide the support for the elderly, is within the group that they're comfortable with within their culture. So that's one thing that's very important. But certainly we also have a whole range of other groups that use our community halls, and it's very important again for when you have a high immigration like we have in Australia and into the city here. It's important that people when they come to the country, they have friendly faces, they have people that know and understand their culture, and it makes assimilation much easier. So in many years back, and I've talked to people that came to the country 30, 40 years ago. They came here. They basically had to. They had no English skills, and they had to go to school, and they had to figure out how to go shopping and everything else, and it was quite difficult. So now we try and, I guess, assimilate people maybe over a longer period of time, but it's a much easier path to follow than perhaps what we did 30 and 40 years ago. So I've certainly experienced life in other countries. So I worked for 5 years in Eastern Europe, in countries like Turkey, Romania, Poland, and Austria, to name a few. And I can say it is difficult going into those countries without having language skills. So I think being able to help people and support them through that initial 5 years or so when they come to the country is very important. But look, it's not just about community halls. It's also we provide a range of sporting services, and we have sports teams that form around their community groups, and we support those sports teams. So we have translation services. So we make sure that we help people who do need help with translating, or if they have questions they need to ask, we can help them with translation. So. Look, there's a whole range of services. It is something that's very important to us here in the city of Monash. We have a big Chinese community in the city. We have a big Greek community. Italian community is big. The Sri Lankan community is quite big as well. So it's just very diverse, and the needs of those communities are enormous, and we do our best to make sure that we can help them all out.
Okay. Now, as you're aware that the Sri Lankans are very famous in cricket, is there any involvement with the Sri Lankan community?
Look, I haven't had much involvement with the Sri Lankan community, but certainly the Sri Lankan community I found is everywhere, and I meet people from a Sri Lankan background all the time. So I think there are three groups that we provide services to, three Sri Lankan groups that we provide community halls and other services to in the city. And yes, there's one Sri Lankan Muslim group, there's one Sri Lankan Tamil group, and there's one of the main Sinhalese group as well. So all those different groups, we make sure that we cater for everybody.
Excellent.
But certainly, cricket is a very important sport for the Sri Lankan people, and it's certainly a sport that we support in the city, and we've got a diverse range. We've got some fantastic A-grade cricket, and there's plenty of opportunities for people to play in the city.
Robert, there's quite a big event happening with the Sri Lankan Morning Show, Channel 31. They're having an event on the 18th of October called the Bridal Expo. What's your involvement on that?
Well, yes, I have heard about it. I'm familiar with it. It is being held in Mulgrave, which I represent the Mulgrave ward in the city of Monash. So this is my area. So some of some Sri Lankan business people who were setting up the expo came to me and said, "Look, we want to do this in Mulgrave. We're looking for sponsors and companies that would be interested." And I also happen to be a director of the local Bendigo Community Bank, which is in Pinewood. So we thought this would be a great opportunity for us to get out and interact with the Sri Lankan community. And so the Bendigo Bank is a sponsor. Council is looking at what it can do to help, I guess, market this, and if we can, help market the expo. And I've also got a few friends or business associates who may also look at sponsoring. So I've just tried my best to make sure that an exposition in Mulgrave goes well and is successful.
Thank you, Robert. It's been very interesting talking to you. On behalf of the Sri Lankan Morning Show, let me thank you for the support and looking forward to seeing you on the 18th of October.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it also, and thank you very much, Derek, for having me here today.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.